420 KHTS, freedom, financial freedom. Boy, doesn't that sound good? For a lot of us, we're trying to build financial freedom on a day-to-day basis in our life, but sometimes things happen, whether it's death of somebody we loved. Often a breadwinner passing away without life insurance can be catastrophic to one's finances. But what about a divorce or an illness? You know, more people are likely to have an illness and a disability that's going to last 60 days or longer before they ever retire, which means, do you have 2 or 3 months worth of your bills saved just in case you can't work anymore? Most people say no to that because they have not saved. If you can't go without working, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 months, then something is wrong financially, or maybe you're just young. Now you might say, gosh, we can't do that. Well, gosh, that's what financial planning is all about, the total financial hour. My name is Arif Halaby. That's what we talk about every week at this time. You can go to hometownstation.com and listen live if you're not in the listening area. Hometownstation.com. You can also go and look at some of the archived shows that we have. So a lot of great ideas. Joining us here is David Lozano. Dave Lozano is a bankruptcy lawyer. His offices in Ontario and Lancaster, let me get the other address, West Covina. Folks, everywhere that you can think of, his office of over a dozen people helping people manage their financial life through bankruptcy, and sometimes it's just sitting down. Dave, tell me a little bit about that emotional component. Before the break we were talking about that emotional component of bankruptcy. People come to you, what's that number one emotion that they have when they sit down with you?
Well, the biggest emotion would have to be the fear factor, the fear of the unknown of what this bankruptcy is going to do. And that actually keeps them away from bankruptcy sometimes too long. And so the first thing we try to do is to address that fear and put everything at rest and let them, and to assure them that their house is going to be protected, their car is protected, their wages, their jobs, all of their personal furniture and belongings in their home. Everything can be protected in bankruptcy in modern rules today and in the modern laws of today. All of that can be protected. What we're simply looking to do is to eliminate their debt and get them back on track.
And you know, Dave, with that, the things that a lot of people forget about is some of their retirement accounts, if not all of them, can be protected as well, yeah?
Absolutely. In fact, that was really one of the good things that came out of the 2005 laws that were changed in bankruptcy. As you well know, for, oh my gosh, years and years and years, bankruptcy has gone unchanged in the rules and the laws and such, but in 2005, Congress changed all the bankruptcy laws, made them a little bit stiffer, a little bit more strict. However, one of the things they expanded on was the protection of retirement plans, and that's fantastic.
So that has got to do wonders for one who is in their 50s, ready to retire in 10 years or so. They're worried about losing their retirement assets. So that emotion, that fear, is often put aside when they come and see you.
Well, right. I mean, if they had any fear at all, it can't be about the retirements.
Yep.
Because those are all protected, and they could rest assured that is definitely going to be something there for them after the bankruptcy is over.
Okay, so now they go through this process. They're real afraid. They sit down with you, and they're in a much better position because they're realizing they can keep their furniture, their car, their home, provided they can still pay for it, of course, after the bankruptcy. But with that, and through that process, sometimes there's a fear of what this does to one's credit. How do you explain that?
Right, and again, usually at the end of our consultations is when we address this issue. And what most people don't realize is that even though the name bankruptcy stays in your credit report for 10 years, most people can recover their good name well within 2 to 4 years. In fact, right now, my office is going through a flood of clients that I did their bankruptcies for 9, 10, 11 years ago, and they're all returning back to having to file a new bankruptcy because they got in trouble again. But what that proves is it proves that they were able to reestablish their credit.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. So that's one way to look at it, is that they were able to reestablish their credit. So now I always say it's like giving a 16-year-old a Ferrari. If they've got the license, has their name on it, they can drive, they know, first gear, second gear, they know how to put it in a park and drive, whatever it is. But now you give them a car like a Ferrari or a Porsche, and all of a sudden they're in a position with so much power, with very little knowledge, and surprise, they crash the car within a week. It's just like the financial knowledge. If we don't give our teenagers, when they get into college or high school and then on into college, we don't give them financial knowledge. They've got a paycheck, has their name on it, they have a bank account, they have a credit card. Surprise, they're going to crash into a wall financially before they're 30 years old. Same thing with somebody who's 40, 50, 60. They now retire or plan on retiring or whatever. But if they don't have that financial knowledge, surprise, they're going to get into trouble again. So I think that's a lot of that same pathway of learning how to kind of combine a lot of what we do, which is financial literacy, sitting down and helping people learn that process, but then within that process, rebuilding their credit and understanding the emotional components of bankruptcy. And that how many times do you get men who will confide in you that, gosh, I feel like a failure. I feel like I just haven't done what I was supposed to do as a man of my family.
Oh, we definitely get that all the time. I mean, people do not want to be sitting in front of a bankruptcy attorney. It's the last place they would imagine themselves to be. But you're exactly correct. Getting the financial education after bankruptcy, that is just almost as critical, because we don't want to go back where we came from. We don't want to return to the situation. You want to be able to recover, and you will recover. You want to be able to regain your credit, and you will. But with that new credit comes new knowledge, new experience, and quite frankly, that's where you come in.
Oh, yeah, well, thanks. We enjoy it, Dave. I've known you for, a dozen years or more. Through a mutual client. A mutual client had filed bankruptcy, worked with you. We were walking them through the financial side of the process back in the old bankruptcy laws and the bankruptcy days, and have had, fortunately or unfortunately, refer a lot of people to you over the years, and you've always done an incredible job at helping them recover and helping them understand the process and following up with them, because this is sometimes a very lonely experience. So folks, I understand going through bankruptcy or anything like that isn't a fun experience, but the important part of that is making sure you have a team, and I appreciate your team, and now as your team has grown and it seems to now have a lot more professional people there than ever before, which means, folks, you're going to be taken care of when you go see Dave Lozano. Let me give you the phone number, folks. This is very important. 800-974-5680. That's 800-974-5680. You can also go to hometownstation.com, click on Total Financial Solutions. We'll be happy to give you some information on how to get a hold of Dave. Just send us a quick email. We'll shoot you over his contact info. Again, ready for the pen and paper again? For his number is 800-974-5680, and that's David Lozano, attorney. We're going to come back in just a minute, continue with David as we finish up this hour of the program. I want you to learn a little bit more about some of the technical parts. So it's going to be a little technical, but it's going to be more informative. Thanks for joining us, Dave. We'll be back in just a minute, folks, on your hometown station. My name is Arif Halaby, joined by Jeff Gerard and our special guest, David Lozano, on AM 1220 KHTS.